what if the life that you are meant to live is never going to be understood by the people that the vision was not given to? You know, when people say that you're too obsessed, or you're doing too much, or you need to balance, or you need to, give yourself some rest, give yourself some grace. They are saying that because they have not lived the life that you live. They haven't dreamed the dream you dream for yourself, and they don't know what the purpose is. And so you can't expect anybody to be able to truly support and believe in a vision that was not given to them. And so I think a lot of times it's mentioned to us in love and wanting us to do well and be well, but we have to be okay with looking crazy. We have to be okay with being misunderstood. And I just wanted to talk about that because I had a conversation just yesterday with my best friend, and it was expressed like, you need to balance some things better. You working so hard, you this, you that. And of course it was given in love. It was given in, a way that my best friend supports me and wants me to do well and be great. But it is something internally that I had to say. I know externally I look insane, but I know internally what it is that I have to do to be who it is that I know that I see in my head, to be who God called me to be. And so the work looks crazy. It does look extreme. It does look too obsessive, but I know what's required to get where, or I think I know. I haven't found, because I'm also willing to be wrong, you feel me? But I haven't found a better system or another answer that is better than what I've come up with now. So I wanted to talk about it. So what up, y'all? I'm Jamai, and this is Manifesting Stardom. This is my journey to being the biggest star in the world, and you're here. So I want to hear your feedback. I want to hear you tell me what you think. I want to hear your insight on it. If you're an artist, if you're a creator, if you're a dreamer, if you're a person that's inspired to do great things, I want to hear, your response to this. But I just have 3 simple points to affirm you, and to also let you know that you're not alone and that we're together in this, that, it's okay to be understood, and you should lean in to being misunderstood. Lean into not being, supported in ways that somebody that is dealing with the same thing or really wanting greatness would understand you. So yeah, so the first point I have here is your discipline will look extreme to people with different goals. From the outside, you may look obsessive. From mama and them perspective, it may be like, nigga, you need to go in and get you a good job with some benefits and build your 401k, you feel me? But to you, this is what you're doing because you have to do it, because it's a part of who you are. Excellence has a price. Everybody doesn't agree to pay that price. And so the truth is, like, my purpose and your purpose are different. So your level of excellence may be different. And even for some of us, some of our purpose are the same. Some of us are artists. We both artists, or we're both entrepreneurs, or we're both whatever. But like, your level of excellence is not the same as my level of excellence for myself, for what I know and what I believe to be, the level that I want to be on. For me, like I said this yesterday, if my vision is me performing on stage, and I can play anything that I hear in my head on piano, and I can hop off my piano and play my guitar, and then I can go over and hit a split and hit a backflip, and then go back to the mic. That's my vision for me. So in order for me to do that, I can't casually pursue practicing my instruments. I can't practice piano 2 days out the week, or practice guitar, 3 days out the week. It has to be a deliberate thing every day if I want to be what I see myself as. Now, if I want to just be able to fiddle my way around the piano, be able to play some things when I'm writing songs or whatever, then cool, I'm probably at that level. But at the level that I want to be able to play whatever I hear. I want to be able to write a song, it just flows naturally, because I'm so well versed in my instruments that whatever I hear, I can play it. I'm able to communicate through song and through songwriting and through musical progressions in a way that my skill doesn't limit me. And so that's just my personal belief that if I master my instruments, if I master the craft of songwriting, then that means that I can always I can write endless songs, and it'll just be an endless flow of art coming through me because I have instruments, literally instruments that will help me communicate my ideas, and maybe incite more creativity because of my ability. You know what I'm saying? So, that doesn't automatically make you better than them. It means that your assignment requires something different from you. And so it's okay for people to think you crazy or misunderstand you. And so the scripture for that is First Corinthians 9:9 and 24. Do you not know that in a race all the runners, but only one gets the prize? Run in such a way as to get the prize. Everyone who competes in the games goes into strict training. They do it to get a crown that will not last, but we do it to get a crown that will last forever. There are a lot of people running, but run like you intend to win. Run like you running for number one. Don't just casually pursue this. Run like you trying to be number one. The second point of that is every season won't look balanced. And this is what I learned. I talked about it before, reading Barack Obama's book and reading some other literature that I've read. If you are going to be elite at something, you are not going to be able to do. Michelle Obama said it was impossible for her to be a great mom and climb the corporate ladder. So she had to, when her kids were young, she had to pull back professionally so that she can prioritize her children. As her kids got older, you know what I'm saying? Or you have to make decisions. Barack Obama was running for president and senator. He was not able to be home every night by 6 p.m. to be a great husband and great father. Some seasons you will not have balance, but in order to reach the threshold, to get through that glass ceiling, to get through to that level that you want, you're going to have to be extreme. You're going to have to work extra hard. You're going to have to push more than you normally would have pushed. And so I think that goes for any great person, any great athlete, any great artist, any great, anything, anybody that's been great at something. They did not get to that level of greatness with balance. The important distinction is that sacrifice and self-destruction aren't the same thing. Rest, relationships, your health, and your responsibilities still matter, but you also don't have to water down your ambition just to make your life look more comfortable for somebody else. And the scripture for that is Ecclesiastes 3:1. It says, "There is a time for everything and a season for every activity under the sun." Maybe your life isn't permanently unbalanced. Maybe this season simply has a priority. And I think for me, when the money starts flowing like it need to flow, when, the fans are at the number in which I need them, when I've reached some of my goals, then yeah, I'll pull back and be able to do this and do that. The workload may be heavier, but maybe I'll be able to delegate to where I won't have to give attention to every little thing. You know what I'm saying? So, get rid of that idea that you have to always be balanced, because that is not true. And anybody that's been successful at anything, they did not become successful by a balanced life. Not Jeff Bezos, not Mark Zuckerberg, not Beyonce, not Michael Jordan, not Michael Jackson, not Mike Tyson, not Kobe Bryant. Not Tiger Woods, not Serena Williams. Like, anybody you can think of, even look at some of our families, our parents. They didn't pursue being great parents casually. My great grandma Gaga was the greatest. She's the world champion of grandmothers. Like, she was just the greatest grandmother ever. I was her first great grand, and like she was just I've never met a human being like her. Rest in peace, Gaga. You know what I'm saying? And that's just the truth. Like, but you can't pursue anything casually if you're going to do it and be great at it. Certainly if you're going to be the best at it. It's impossible. The last point is being misunderstood is a part of choosing an uncommon path. One of the hardest parts about going all in isn't the work. It's being willing to be misunderstood. Are you willing to be misunderstood? Are you willing for people to call you crazy? Are you willing for people to tell you, you need to give up, you need to do this, you need to do that? You need to rest, you need to balance, you need to give yourself grace. Are you willing to hear that in order to get where you know you need to get to? The scripture for that is Galatians 1:10. It says, am I now trying to win approval of human beings or of God? Or am I trying to please people? If I were still trying to please people, I would not be a servant of Christ. You cannot build an uncommon life while constantly needing approval from people. And that's from the people that you love, and that's from the people that's close to you, because as close as somebody is to you, they are not you. They don't have the same convictions that you have. You know, they may have the same moral concept, they may have the same moral values, you know, but they don't have the same convictions that you have, because God has given you the dream. Because even you sometimes second guess your purpose or your path. Even I second guess, is this what I need to be doing? Maybe I need to do something else. You know what I'm saying? But the truth is, other people will feel that way as well, especially if we aren't producing enough of the tangible results that people can see and count and all those different things. That doesn't mean that you don't need to keep that same level of intensity. You know, it just means that you won't have that outside support, because people look at life through their own lens, through their own convictions, and through what they see. And so if God has imparted something in you that simply hasn't manifested physically, but you still have to do the work before it manifests physically, you're going to be misunderstood. You know what I mean? Listen to wisdom, stay teachable, check in with yourself and check in when necessary, but don't require everybody but don't require everybody around you to understand your calling before you give yourself permission to pursue it. You know, greatness is uncommon. You know, being number one, only one person can be number one. Only one person can be number one. So sometimes the process of becoming great is going to feel uncomfortable. You may be lonely, you may be understood, you may feel crazy, but it is a requirement, and it is the plight of the great one. You got to be willing to be understood. Be willing to run the race. Be willing to win the race. And in the process of winning the race, it's only one person at the top. You know, it's only one person that, when pursuing perfection and greatness, you are just not going to be understood. That's just the bottom line. So be okay with looking crazy. I'll see y'all tomorrow.